out, And turns out that guy, it was Leroy Montoya, the Texas-made guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
everybody knows that guy.
Yeah. So we would talk and stuff, and he was like, "Hey man, you ever thought about jiu-jitsu?" And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of thought about it, but I never really saw myself doing it, And I tried it and fell in love with it. So.
No, yeah. You see, and one of the things that I always ask as far as the beginning, because a lot of people jump on this, whether it be for self-defense or just to work out, and they get hooked.
Yeah. Mine, I was just like I said, I've always been fascinated by martial arts, even since when I was a kid. Watching the, everybody watches Bruce Lee and all that kind of stuff like that.
You see, and that's actually one of my questions, man. Like growing up, I mean, of course, Bruce Lee, and I mean, what else did you watch that you were like, you know what, like I want to do this, man? I mean, of course, back then we didn't know it was acting.
Right. Yeah. The thing that really got me was watching Jean-Claude Van Damme on the first movie that he did, where he was, fighting, and he goes to the corner and he does a split in between the ropes, and all that thing. I was like, I want to be able to do that, And
can you do that?
Yeah, no,
not yet.
no. I the closest I came to being able to do that was back when I was doing Taekwondo, though. Back when I was in college, and I was pretty flexible, and I can do like a side kick, straight up in the air, that type of thing. But I never was able to get side splits like that. But I tried, but nah. No,
never got that far.
Nah.
And I mean, as far as Taekwondo, how did that start? Was it just mom, dad putting you in?
Well, no, it was. I'd always thought about doing it, and when I was in college, we got a professor there who was like a 4th degree, and he just wanted people to train with. So he started teaching just to get people to train with him, and so I started taking lessons, and then over the years, I was like the only one that kind of stuck with it. So it ended up being just me and him working out.
Man.
So I got private.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I got private.
Lesson,
Yes, for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh man.
And so it was cool. It was cool. And but then when I joined the military and I started moving around, it kind of fell off. I'd work out on my own and stuff like that, but I never joined an academy or anything after that.
No, definitely, man.
Yeah.
And let me just say, I mean, we've been recording, man, but of course, everybody out there, this is sPidA here at the Fight Card Podcast. My guest today, of course, Darryl McEachin, and I know pronounce that wrong.
Yeah, McEachin.
There you go, man. And I apologize. That's why I wanted to ask earlier. I said, man, that's one of those names that.
Hey, I'm used to
definitely.
it, man. I'm used to it, man. Yeah.
But my man, I mean, of course, you're driving down from New Braunfels, Texas. About 30, 40-minute drive.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And how was the drive out here?
Not bad at all.
No, okay.
Traffic was good today, so yeah.
You see, and it's Friday, so man, I hate Fridays, especially traffic, because especially after hours, everybody's trying to get home and start. I don't know what everybody's in a hurry for, man.
I know, right? Yeah, it's just chill, man.
Take it easy. But man, as far as training, man, I mean, of course, we jumped right into it earlier and talking about your the beginning as far as from martial arts. I mean, being Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Eventually getting into kickboxing, was it?
Well, just Taekwondo. I didn't really. I did a little bit of kickboxing. Just training. I didn't compete or anything like that, but just like I said, I had a neighbor down the street who was teaching, and I got into that because my wife got into it, so we did it together. Kind of thing.
Oh, nice, man. And I mean, having come from striking, going into grappling, was that like were you like into the unknowns, or had you already done some wrestling?
Well, no, I never did any wrestling, and even when I first saw jiu-jitsu for the first time, I was like, man. And my frame of reference was all the Gracie stuff, the UFC and one and all that, and I was like, man, it's kind of rough, and I was like, I don't know that I want to get into that. Yeah, that's just, so not realizing that jiu-jitsu was mainly the grappling and not necessarily the strikes. And
right.
So I kind of shied away from it then, but once I got into it and realized what it was. I was like, okay, this is for me.
Yeah, I don't get hit.
Yeah, I don't like getting hit in the face. Yeah.
And let me ask you, I mean, as far as the years you've been training in jiu-jitsu, have you ever had to use it like in public, like if you're somewhere and defend yourself?
Fortunately, no. I haven't had to in a serious. I mean, playing around with folks, but nothing serious. No. Hopefully, fingers crossed, kind of.
No, definitely, man. I mean, that's something we never want to have to go through. But I mean, in case something did happen, I mean, of course, you'd be able to subdue somebody and hold them and not choke. Oh, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
But do what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
And now let me ask you. I mean, of course, when I first started, and we talked about this, back in 2000 for myself, was going to parties and going to hang out, and everybody's like, "Oh, jiu-jitsu, let me see, show me."
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, man, I can't.
Yeah.
How can I? I don't know. It was just complicated. And I'm like, man, I can't throw you on the floor. And,
Right.
But it was just, just like everybody thought it was karate. Oh,
Yeah,
karate,
exactly.
Karate
Yeah.
shops and nothing wrong with that, of course.
Right.
People that can do that, great, man. It's just,
yeah.
it's a definitely. I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, having come from Taekwondo, was it more traditional?
Yes.
And so, how did that go into BJJ? Like, I mean, was it more like were you already?
Well, the thing that I took from that during the transition was, since I'd already gotten a black belt in another art, I kind of understood how I needed to learn. How to teach, how I learned techniques, or how I was able to internalize, or what process I needed to go through to learn how to do the techniques. So that made it easier for like when I'm in a lesson or whatever, in a class, to know, okay, I need to understand footwork, I need to understand hand placement, I need to understand leverage, all that kind of stuff, because I'd already gone through that kind of stuff. I mean, granted, we didn't do a lot of groundwork in Taekwondo,
right.
But the concept of being able to take a technique, break it up into pieces, and then put it all together, that process was already kind of established. So it helped me to, I think it helped me to progress a little faster.
No, I mean, I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Because, of course, I mean, like, for me, when I jumped into Vale Todo, which was what it was called, it was more like, okay, get on the mat and just start. I mean, there was structure, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't used to it.
Right.
So I was kind of like all over the place. But yeah, man, it's just one of those things. I know now kids have it made because they start so young. And you can kind of, put that on them. And of course, as they get older, they can utilize that.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just like, okay, get in there and, do
I definitely had those moments, man. Like I said, I started in my neighbor's garage, and we start rolling, and I'd get in. I'd get down and I'd be in somebody's garden. I'd be like, I don't know what to do. What am I doing here? And right. So yeah, there were definitely those moments. But I think too that has the potential of turning people off. If you get in, you don't know what you're doing, and you get overwhelmed or whatever. But because I had gone through the process before in another art, I always understood that, okay, I just got to figure out what the game is here. What am I trying to do? What are the goals that I'm trying to achieve? By passing the guard or getting grips or whatever. And once I understand what I'm trying to do and why, then I can start putting the pieces together. And that's basically how it went. And so I just stuck with it. I was like, I'm gonna get smashed every day. I'm just gonna feel like I'm drinking from the fire hose or whatever. But if I stick with it, then eventually it'll click. And that's kind of what happened.
You see, and that's one of the things I always tell people. The first thing I learned how to do was tap.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
tap with my foot, my hand, verbally, submit. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it is, because even through the years of me when I first started, I mean, we used to get guys. I mean, we used to have classes like 30, 40 people show up. Next day, nobody. It's just because everybody's getting hurt or just banged up. Nobody's used to it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. Like I took it upon myself. Like after having my blue belt, let's say, when we would get new guys, I would bring them in. Like, hey man, let's partner up. Everybody else was out to get them, and I'm like, you know what? I try to put myself in that situation. Let them work, and I would just defend. And But it was. Ideally, that was more for me, like, to make sure they stayed with it. We're losing people left and right. It's unfortunate, it's like, I mean, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you, of course, you had talked about military life. Tell us about that, man.
I did 24 years in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. I loved it. I wasn't necessarily for it when I first went in. I was just going I wanted to finish college. I ran out of money, and I needed, I had a baby on the way and, and all that. So I was like, I need a job where I can make money and still go to school. And so the military popped in. So I was gonna do like 4 years and get out. 4 years turned into 24. So but it was a good time for me. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. Traveled around the world. It's so.
You see, and that's one of those things. I mean, even like me, like myself, I have two kids, two daughters, and I would always tell them, like, because military was always an option.
Yeah.
And I would always tell them that, like, if you're gonna go, like, do it for yourself. Don't do it because you feel like you have to, or you need. It's just do it for yourself. And they're both willing and wanting to, and then at the end they decided not to. But yeah, man, it's one of those things that I wanted to do myself personally. Out of high school, I didn't get to graduate. I had to, no excuses. But my father had passed away. I kind of had to step up. I was already working, so I took it upon myself to just remove myself. But one of the things I did regret in life, man, is not signing up and actually going. It's just I've always been a good guy when it comes to, like, work-wise. Everybody loves me because I work. My mentality is pretty great to where I knew I would do well. And it's just. But yeah, man. I mean, the fact that you were able to accomplish that and do that. Now, no regrets, right?
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it, and I made some great friends, obviously some great memories, and to be a part of something. How do I say, bigger than yourself? Kind of thing. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And I mean, for those out there, and not that we're recruiting people, but those interested in that. What would you recommend? What would you tell them to do?
Talk to somebody who's done it.
Right.
So because not all recruiters, but recruiters are they're there to do a job. And their job is to get people, and so some are good and some are, maybe not,
Right.
So if you want to get the real story, talk to someone who's done it. And I'd say talk to as many people as you can because everybody's story is a little bit different,
Sure.
And then go in with a plan, because the military will. They will get out of you what they need to get out of you. So you need to get out of it what you want to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So have a plan. If you have a career that you're interested in, see if the military has something that's similar or parallel to that, and see if you can get into that,
Right.
Or if there's something that you've just wondered about. Because there's so many different careers in the military things that you can do. Not just if you want to be a war fighter, and that kind of thing. That's great, But everybody, it's not for everybody,
right?
And so think about what you want to do, and then see if you can find something that parallels that in the military, and then go for it, man. It's a great way to go. You can do what you love to do, and on a government dime,
Oh yeah, they're paying for it, so man. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
But let me ask you. Of course, you're not. You've been to San Antonio before.
Yeah.
And training, where did that start? What was boot camp and all?
Well, for Air Force, boot camp or basic training is here in San Antonio. So that's the only one. I think the Army and I think the other branches, they have different basic training locations, but in the Air Force, the only one is here in San Antonio. Oh. So that was actually my first time in San Antonio was when I came to basic training.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then about halfway through my career, I was stationed in San Antonio once again. So I came back. And then I left, and then when we retired, I met my wife here.
Oh, okay.
So when I retired, she had family here still, and that's how we wound up back in this area. So
okay. Yeah, man. And that's one of the things I always tell people, because San Antonio, for years it's been known as Military City USA. There's a lot of bases.
So many
around.
bases here. Yeah.
And so because of that, I myself growing up, I've met a lot of people. A lot of people like yourself that were stationed here and. Called it home. But just that alone. There's a lot of UFC fighters that have families here in San Antonio because of that. And that's one of the cool things. I'm always like, okay, wow, man, small world.
It is.
As soon as I mention San Antonio, either their cousin's been here or somebody, So it's always a good story to start off with.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But man, tell us about this jiu-jitsu journey, man. Where are you guys located at?
In New Braunfels, which is just north of San Antonio here, just up 35. I started jiu-jitsu with like that neighbor that I mentioned, the guy, the Texas-made guy, and his name's Leroy Montoya. He's like, I think that guy's probably introduced more people to jiu-jitsu than any one person that I know. He is so passionate about it.
No, definitely.
And I lived like 3 houses down from him, and so we would start training. And I started training with him, and he suggested after, after like 6 or 7 months or whatever, he said, you got to go to this other school that was in town. and that's where Dalua was teaching. That's how I got the connection with Professor Dalua. And just like I said, I just started doing it, fell in love with it, and I've been hanging in there ever since. When I first started, I was training like 3 or 4 times a day if I could. I was just like really into it because I really wanted to learn, and it was always getting something new or something intriguing or whatever that just kept me going. Fortunately, I didn't have any like major injuries or anything that knock me off track, until later on. But yeah, that was the start. I got on and got hooked, and I've been doing it ever since.
No, you see, and that was somewhat the same thing for me. Like, of course, I think the first month I always tell people I only went like once a week.
Yeah.
I was getting banged up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just found it. I got hooked.
Yeah.
And it was like everything was jiu-jitsu. Everything was like round. Everything was like I wanted to learn why. Like,
yeah. That was the thing, man. I would be like, okay, I'm getting beat up, but why is it so easy? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I would figure one thing out, something else would happen.
I know.
And then I was like, okay, so why is that? And I always just wanted to know, what is this? And so I eventually got to the point to where, okay, I know I'm going to get tapped. I know I'm going to get beat, but I'm gonna just make it hard for them to tap me.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And so I just started focusing on defense, and and just working on being safe and getting comfortable in those bad spots and this and that and the other. And then people would tell me after, yeah, man, you're pretty tough. Your defense is really good, and all that. And so that encouraged me to keep going. And then eventually, as I got more experience, the submission started to appear. I started seeing I might not get it, but I can see. Okay, I can see now how I can get to that. And then I just kept driving like that, just kept pushing forward, and here we are.
No, for sure. You see, for us even back then, we used to have students from other academies, like from out of state, stop by and going against somebody like that, like they were like, oh, this guy's a Hensel, Gracie purple belt, and this guy, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna roll with these guys.
Yeah.
And it wasn't to prove anything, but for myself.
Yeah.
And I would roll. One of the things I noticed right off the bat doing that was that going against somebody better made me better.
Yeah.
And so I started going with guys that I was in awe. Like I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, damn, this guy's good.
Yeah.
And so I would roll with them and I would hold off with them, and they're telling me like, man, that was good, man. And I'm thinking like, bro, like, but yeah, that's when I was like, you know what? And that's when I started cross training a little bit more. I started going to Corpus, started going to Austin.
Yeah.
And just started putting myself in situations where I was like, I didn't know anybody.
So
I wasn't like, okay, this guy's good at arm pulls, or this guy's good with leg glides, and so it made it fun. Made it more interesting, and of course, just created more openings for the sport, for myself. Yeah,
it took me a little while to get into the cross training because I think it was more my confidence in my jiu-jitsu. It took a while for me to develop that, and so I was comfortable rolling with the people I was rolling with, and so to step out of that, it took a little bit, for me to. But once I started doing it and I started believing, that's one thing that Lord would always say. I remember like times we would be getting ready for competitions or whatever, and he said, just believe in your jiu-jitsu, trust your jiu-jitsu, and it never really clicked until there came a time when I had to, I had to trust that I knew what I was doing, or not that I know, because nobody knows everything about anything, but I had to trust that the work that I had put in was going to pay off. It was going to reap benefits or whatever. And so once I was able to do that, then I started really enjoying going to cross training. So I have relationships with some of the guys and some of the other schools in the area and stuff, where I can come in and get some rolls in and really just kind of get a feel for where I am against somebody who doesn't know my game, whose game I don't know, and that kind of thing. So I like that. But it took me a little bit to get to that.
Oh yeah. And that's kind of, I think that's kind of the same thing with throughout the years. I would lay off for like a few months and then go back, and I'd be afraid to get tapped. Like, man, I haven't done this in a minute. So it would always take a while for me to jump in their feet first. Okay, well, I gotta get my muscle memory back.
Right.
And let me ask you, for those watching or listening, what would you say, like, for them to come try a class? But what would you tell them? What would you say, like, hey, you know what?
I would definitely encourage them to do it. Don't be shy about it. I don't know what to expect. Just come in with an open mind.
Right.
A lot of folks have these preconceived notions about what jiu-jitsu is, based on what they see on TV or the movies and this and the other. And so just have an open mind, give it a shot. Know that it's going to be awkward, but also know that everybody in the room has been in that place.
Right.
So everybody understands where you are. And just about every place I've been, they've always been welcoming and eager to help people understand what it's all about. So there's no need to feel like, to feel timid about it or anything like that, because everybody has been where you are. So give it a shot.
No, I mean, definitely. And of course, I mean, when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I mean, it's not just competition.
Right.
It's self-defense. It's staying healthy.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. When I first started, I was probably about 250, and I immediately lost like 40 pounds in the first couple months maybe. And I had been trying a lot of different things to try to lose weight, try to maintain weight, because after I got out of the Air Force, I was kind of floundering, trying to figure out what I was going to do and this and the other. And so yeah, it's certainly a health. There's a health benefit to it. I was telling the guys the other day, I went to a couple months ago. I've been dealing with an injury, and so I went to the doctor, and they, at the beginning they take your vitals or whatever.
Right.
And the nurse or whatever, she says, she looks at the reading or whatever, and she says, let me do this again. So I'm thinking, what's going on?
Start praying.
Yeah, And so she does it again. She says, hey, are you a triathlete? I was like, no, And she's like, yeah, these numbers are like, this says your cardio is like really good. You must be in really good shape. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm just just doing my normal my normal training and this and the other. And then especially as somebody at my age, it's rare apparently for somebody to be in that kind of cardiovascular shape, and so it's definitely a benefit.
No, yeah, you see, and that's another question. I mean, when it comes to age, I mean, is this for pretty much anybody?
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna, you just have to understand there are differences. You know, I roll with 20-year-olds all the time. 20, 30-year-old guys and gals. And I just had to come to the realization that it's different. And you have to adjust your game, obviously, to deal with but that's with anybody. Yeah. I mean, it could be, you always have to assess your opponent and adjust your game based on what their attributes are. So age is just another one of those, or the characteristics of whatever age is just another one of those attributes. So you just do what you need to do. If you got a agile, really fast, 20-year-old bouncing around, you gotta shut him down. Figure out a way to deal with that. Yeah, if you got a strong guy, you gotta figure out a way to negate that. So it's no, in my opinion, it's no different than that. Then you have to also think about yourself. Right. I turned 56 this year. I don't recover as quickly as a 30-year-old, or whatever. So I have to be cognizant of that. I think I'm pretty strong, but I'm not gonna match a 20-year-old strength, for the whole 5-minute round or whatever. Right. I might do well for the first minute, 2 minutes or whatever, but there's gonna be a difference, and so I have to understand that. So, and as long as you keep ego out of it, and just take those things into account, and then trust your jiu-jitsu, and it all works out. So now, and you got to listen to your body. If your body's telling you, hey man, I feel kind of beat up, then you might need to take a day off. But it's and the other. And I used to think that if I took time off that I was going to lose something, because I started so late. I was 49 when I started, and so I felt like I got all this ground to make up, Right. And so I didn't want to miss anything. That's why I was training so many times, so much,
Trying to catch up, man.
And I remember I was talking to Dalua once after class, and I was like, man, I just feel terrible. I feel like I'm not growing. I can't hardly move. I'm aching all the time. Blah blah blah. He said, take a week off. Don't even come in here. He said, just don't do anything. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take a week off, you know. And he said, I'm going to miss so much. I'm already behind, you know. He was like, man, you didn't get this far in a week. Yeah. So you're not going to lose that much in a week. Just take the week off and don't go. So I was like, okay, reluctantly I did it, you know. I think maybe I made it to like Friday. Friday I came in. I didn't train, but I came in. But anyway, I took that week off. And so I came back that Monday and I felt excellent. I felt great. Man, I had energy. I was moving well. I felt sharper. You know, even though I hadn't trained in a week, and I was like, man. And so it's the power of like recovery, letting yourself recover. You know, and so yeah, I would say that too. Listen to your body, be realistic about where you are, and then trust your jiu-jitsu.
No, there goes that.
Yeah,
again.
Yeah, man.
It's true though, man.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to start using that.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you. I mean, rest. That's one of the things I always told about. Especially, I mean, these guys. I mean, they can get hit by a truck and get up and keep going. You know, for me, I told people, if I fall down, leave me there for. You know, let me take a nap.
Give me
I'll get up when I'm ready, man. But that is one of the important things, man. Because even like, I mean, for me, throughout the years when I started, I mean, I burnt out.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing it so much that I just one day I was just like, man, like yourself, and it makes sense because I would go to class and I would get beat up and smacked, and I'm thinking like, man, what am I doing wrong? It was just I was so mentally frustrated and tired. And I took that break, and you know, it took me months to go back because, like we said earlier, I mean, just for me to go back and get beat up again, I was just like, man, I don't want to do this, but eventually I did. You know, started training and then just kept going at it for a while. But yeah, man. I mean, as far as New Braunfels. I mean, when you first started out there, I mean, how was it for you? I mean, because of course, military, you were here in San Antonio, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And what was it? What was this decision to go to New Braunfels? Why did you guys move out?
My wife, when I retired, my wife had been following me around for like 10 years. You know, we went from we met here in San Antonio, then we moved to Georgia, then we moved to Hawaii. I retired out of Hawaii, believe it.
Oh, wow.
That was great. And then so when I when I retired, I said, well, you've been following me around for 10 years, so I'll go wherever you want to go. And so she got a job in Austin.
Oh, okay.
But we had family in San Antonio, so we kind of wanted to split it.
In between.
Yeah. So and that's how we landed in New Braunfels.
Okay.
And we liked it there, and so we bought a house.
You see, and I mean, of course, compared to Hawaii, I mean, of course, you got the ocean out there, but you guys got a river out there in New Braunfels. Right?
Yeah, but it's nothing.
No.
It doesn't even compare, you know. So, that was tough making that move, you know, because like in Hawaii, man, you walk out the door and there's it's like a postcard.
Yeah,
you know,
it's paradise.
It's just beautiful, you know. And then whenever you want to go to the beach, you just pack up in the car and just go, and like within minutes, you're at one of the probably most beautiful places you can imagine, and I could do it every day if I wanted to, you know. And the weather was always nice. I mean, even when it was raining, it was so nice. You would just go out and walk in the rain, you know, that kind of thing. So that was a tough transition, but you know, it is what it is.
And what did you do out there in Hawaii? I mean, of course, you were still in the military.
Well, I was in the military. By that time, I had joined I was part of the military band as a musician. So I was a full-time musician for the Air Force in Hawaii.
What did you play?
I'm a keyboard player.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I would have brought mine. And I mean, how did that start? I mean, what was it that got you into music?
My family, my mom and dad were musicians. I've been playing since I started when I was like 8 years old.
Oh wow.
And so I've always been in and around music. You know. So
okay.
And that's what I do now. I'm a full-time musician. I retired and just started doing music full time. So
man.
So yeah, I just do jits and music.
Perfect combination.
I love it,
bro. I love it. They're both arts.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as music, I mean, what type of music?
Mainly I do like smooth jazz, R&B type stuff. I also have I play at a church, so I do gospel stuff, you know. So whatever the job calls for, really, you know. Yeah.
And any recordings?
Some, yeah. I haven't done anything in a while. I've played on recordings for other people.
Right.
A lot more than I have of my own. I did a CD back in, I want to say it was 03, 04.
I was going to say CD. I know they just posted yesterday or the day before. It was like the 40 years since CDs were
yeah.
And I was like, man.
Yeah. And then I had a group with some friends of mine here in San Antonio and New Orleans area. We did a Christmas CD a couple years back. So that's the latest thing that I've done of my own original type stuff.
Okay.
But yeah.
And of course, I mean, you have your own setup at home, your own studio.
Yep, I got on my nice little recording setup that I can do. I can do tracks for people. I can play on, produce keyboard tracks for people's projects and send them the files, and all that. I can do editing and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you got everything going. The whole recording studio.
All at home. Yeah.
That's great, man.
So.
Maybe I'll hire you to get some intro music on.
Hey, there you go, man.
Get something going.
There you go.
People dancing.
See, and then there you go. That's another thing about jits, man, that I love. I've met so many people that I never probably would have met otherwise through jits, and so it's just awesome.
No, I mean, that's true, because I always tell people, like, you come to any jiu-jitsu class, I mean, you're going to find from blue collar to white collar,
exactly.
Military, I mean, doctors. I mean, I was teaching at one point in 2005, and I had, like, chiropractors going to my class, I had sheriffs, and then it was just like, oh, man, like, hey, this guy's on parole, man, but, but I mean, it was just a world of people that were just coming by, but it brought a lot of people together, so that's cool, man.
The chiropractor that I go to, I met from jits. There's a doctor that I met through jits that whenever I have issues or I get a X-ray result and I don't know what it means, I say, hey, can you tell me what this is in layman's terms? But yeah, you just meet so many people through jits that it's amazing. It's amazing.
No, I mean, definitely. I mean, I've been covering the sport going, on over 12 years, man, and I mean, I've been able to cover a lot of big events, regional, and just traveling Texas. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just. I met a lot of good people. Yeah. I mean, of course, we all started in MySpace, but everybody's on Facebook and Instagram now. But yeah, man, it's a great time. I mean, for those, I mean, of course, watching this, like you mentioned earlier, with jiu-jitsu, I mean, not just the fact that you get to train, but the camaraderie. Everybody coming together and being respectful for each other.
I think, for me, anyway, the jits community has kind of replaced or fill that void that I had with the military community once I retired. It gave me that kind of brotherhood kind of situation that I had with the military. It's given me another, or I should say, an extension of that.
Right.
Because, I just feel like I have that same kind of feeling for my teammates and anybody who is related to jits. As I had with the military. Kind of thing.
Man, and I mean, when you started training jiu-jitsu, I mean, was that something that your friends know? I mean, were you
no. I think I had maybe one of my friends who had done jits before.
Oh, okay.
But that's it. And so a lot of them were like, I don't think they thought I was gonna last, for one. And but then as I kept going and I kept talking about it, or I kept saying, I'm gonna be out because I got a competition coming up or whatever, blah blah blah. Then they started realizing, okay, he's serious about this thing, and so now a lot of my friends, obviously they understand it and they see that I'm doing it because they look at my Instagram or Facebook or whatever and they see me doing a competition or getting promoted or whatever, So, but yeah, like I didn't have any friends who were actually doing it at least that I knew of that were doing it. So when I started, it was like I just met this whole brand new community of folks, and it's just been great.
You see, and like you said, I mean, even back then, it was just your neighbor, right?
Yeah. Who would have known? Right? Yeah, who would have known? Right? Exactly. And so it's cool, man. Now there's 3 or 4. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 people on the street, on that same street that are
really?
Train, either training with Leroy or training at the gym with Dalua, So it's like, yeah, man, it's just cool. I can't say enough good things about my experience so far. It's great.
No, yeah, man. I mean, of course, there just like everything. I mean, there's ups and downs. And, training, like injury, like you said, also, just things, little bumps on the road. Mm-hmm. And let me ask you, as far as because right now you are a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. And the competition. I mean, how often do you get to compete?
Well, I try to. I haven't done much as of late because of the injuries.
Right.
But I try to do all of the Dallas, Austin, Houston Opens, And they used to do San Antonio's, but they haven't done them since COVID here. I was trying to do like Naga and Fuji tournaments, but a lot of times they don't have guys my age. And so I would end up with somebody like, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever. And that got old. So now I usually stick with the IBJJF. Because I'm more likely to have somebody my age.
Competitors.
Yeah, right. And but I try to do all of those. So some of those are twice a year. Then I'll try to do. I would like to do like pans and Master Worlds and then no gi pans or whatever and that kind of thing. So I try to do as much as I can, and then obviously I have to juggle it around my work schedule because if I have sometimes I play shows with different artists, smooth jazz artists, and so if something conflicts there, then I have to make those decisions. But within those boundaries, as much as I can.
Man.
Yeah.
And now let me ask you. I mean, as far as competition, because you just mentioned you do gi and no gi.
Yeah, I prefer gi.
Okay.
But one of the professors that I came up under or came up working with, Aaron Morris, he's over at Ohana. I remember talking to him once, and he asked me about no gi, and I was like, well, I don't know, blah blah. He's like, man, you ought to try it just to say you did it.
Yeah.
And I tried it, and I actually liked it. I actually enjoyed it, and I didn't win, but I didn't do very bad.
Right.
I was like, okay, I can do this. So I've been doing a little bit more no gi. Just to get the experience, and I like it. Okay. I'm and now at brown belt and IBJJF in gi, you can do leg locks.
Right.
Yeah. So I had to kind of get up on that. I had been putting that off for a while, and I was like, okay, now I have to.
Right. So I gotta learn how to defend.
Yeah, I gotta defend. Yeah. So yeah.
And as far as family, I mean, do you, any relatives are training jiu-jitsu?
Not really. I have one of my very best friends. He's like a brother to me. So his kids are like my nieces and nephews. So it's like I got a nephew that I got into jits because they were looking for something to kind of channel his energy and stuff. And I said, hey man, why don't you I'm loving jiu-jitsu. Why don't you give it a try for him? And he went and he like latched onto it, kind of like I did. So he's doing it. And then I have an actual nephew back in North Carolina who does something. Because when we talk about him, he'll say, yeah, I want to roll with you sometimes. So I'm not real sure if he's seriously training or if he just kind of dabbled in it or what. He's calling you out. But he's calling me out. So when I go back home, I'm going to have to teach him a lesson.
There you go. Gi or no gi now.
The rest.
Man, well, I mean, as far as training, I mean, of course, I mean, there's always stuff to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like I always tell people, I mean, an arm bar is an arm bar, a leg lock is a leg lock, it's transitions. You know, how to set it up. I mean, there's parts, there's parts to it, man. There's a lot of stuff. And I mean, what is it about jiu-jitsu that keeps you hooked?
Well, there's always someone better.
Yeah.
No matter how good you get. I mean, of course, you got the Gordon Ryans and all that kind of, but that's another story. But for me, anyway, there's always somebody better. So, in saying that and accepting that, then that means there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm all about getting better and learning. And so whenever I'm rolling, I don't care if I'm rolling with the, blue belt or 5-stripe 5th-degree black belt. If somebody gets something. I want to know what it was. I'll stop the roll and be, hey man, what was that? Or how did you do that? And so I love that. And then being able to pass that along to somebody. I like helping people, especially people who want to learn. So if you're someone who is really trying to advance themselves in the sport, and I can do anything to help do that, then I'm all about it. So, but in order to do that, then I gotta have my stuff together. So. I'm always trying to look at where the holes are in my game, what are my weak areas, and what I need to do to shore up those weak areas. And there's always something to work on.
Yeah.
And of course, again, like we mentioned, the health benefits, that kind of stuff. I like feeling good. I like looking good. I like, being able to move, better than when I go and compare myself to other 56-year-olds. Where do I kind of fall in there? And I like that kind of thing. So those things keep me going.
No, definitely, man. I used to, for years, I would always tell people, like, after I stopped training, I was just like, man, I just stay in shape just so I can eat what I want, man. That's it. As long as I can put on my shoes, take them off of myself, I said, I'm good. But yeah, man, I mean, as we get older, I mean, it's no secret, I mean, we lose muscle mass, we lose flexibility. I mean, there's things that if we don't use it, we lose it.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, because in jiu-jitsu, you use muscles that you probably didn't even realize you had, so just getting down and being able to roll on a daily basis, and being able to survive that, and well, I say survive because I don't want to make people think it's like treacherous or anything, but you know what I mean. But being able to do that on a consistent basis, there's something about that, and it's a mental thing too, man. To know that you're in the kind of shape that where you can do that kind of thing, and then there's also the self-defense aspect too. You have the confidence to know that. Not that you're trying to be Rambo or whatever, but if you are in a situation that you have a better likelihood of handling it or getting away from disengaging or whatever you need to do to handle it. So that's always good too. So
yeah, man. You see, and for me, like when I first started, for us it was VHS tapes. We used to have to watch VHS tapes just to see what training Abu Dhabi. I saw it on VHS copies. Yeah. And so of course the internet was there, but it was barely coming, so we didn't have like the ability to just kind of like put in jiu-jitsu and boom.
Right.
So, but yeah, every time I would see new books, magazines, and I'm like, man, I would always like, how did he get here, man? Like, what's going on, you know? And so for me, it was always fun just even watching other people roll, and I'm thinking like, what was that? How did he get that sweep, and I'm looking where the legs at, the foot.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, one of the things I enjoyed throughout the years was attending seminars. Yeah. I was able to attend a few Carlson Gracie senior black belts, Ray Diogo, Master Carlson Gracie himself before he passed away. I was able to attend a seminar.
That's cool.
And it was always... The one thing I always got from them is that they made it fun. Yeah. They were like, hey, they're cracking jokes and making it to where you were like, okay, made everybody relax. Yeah. And so when I was teaching, I was kind of doing the same thing because I wanted people to keep coming back. Yeah. I mean, in 2005, I was the first person to have jiu-jitsu in the mornings. I worked evenings at the post office, so I had my mornings available. Yeah. And so because of that, I was like, man, it ain't gonna happen. And before I knew it, man, I had like 30, 40 students. Oh, wow, people that were working night shift. Yeah. Day off, they're like, man, I want to get it over with, and Yeah. But because of that, it made me realize a lot of things because, I mean, I had guys from Corpus, from Lockhart driving down, training and on Sundays, and, my thing was always like... They were always asking what the fee was. Hey, what's the drop-in fee? And I'm like, man, you're driving 2 hours, bro. Yeah, right. Free, man. Don't worry about it. But I liked it because I knew at that time like I was making it fun and people were learning. They were like, man, like, that was a good workout. And I actually have one of my old students. I mean, the guy surpassed me a long time ago, but he's a second-degree black belt. And up in Dallas, and he I saw him a few years ago at a fight because I always followed him. But I had seen him fight, and he was like, "Hey man, those drills that you used to have us do." He's like, "Man, I'm still doing those." Still doing it, right? Yeah. And so that made me feel good. What? It's good stuff, man. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But of course, like you said, man, for those willing to train it, I mean, of course, they can look you up. Or, if they're in San Antonio, they can look up a facility close to them. But I mean, as far as the training, I mean, how does it start? Do you guys just have evening classes, or is it an all day?
Well, we have morning classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I teach the Tuesday and Wednesday morning class, and we have another guy who teaches the Thursday class, and then we have noon class on Monday through Thursday, and then we have night class Monday through Thursday and open mat on Friday. And then we have a competition class on Saturday mornings. Oh wow! Okay. Yeah, so we have a lot of possibilities for people to come in and train. So just I don't know that we have a drop-in fee. I haven't talked to Dalua about that, but I don't think there is. But you certainly can come by and try out a few classes before you make a decision or whatever. But we're competition focused for sure, but it's still welcome. We're still welcoming to anybody for whatever their goals are.
Right.
If you just want to train for fitness or you just love to do it, and we have plenty of guys that are in that same boat.
Like men and women.
Men and women, yeah. And the biggest thing, we have kids program too, and so now we have a lot of kids who are I guess because they see what some of us are doing with the competition stuff, they are showing interest in competing and stuff. Man. Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, it's grown a lot, and it's been open a little over a year now, and it's grown tremendously, and we're real happy with the way it's going, and looking forward to the future. Dalua is a great coach. He has a passion for it, and he's a good teacher. He's pushed me a lot further than I thought I would. Like even with the teaching, because I was a little apprehensive at first. Obviously, I've 24 years in the military. You learn how to train people, because that's part of your job, and so he had me kind of helping out with the kids, but then when I got my brown belt, he was like, "Yeah, you need to start teaching," and I was like, okay, and so but the more I do it, the more comfortable I get with it, and then when I get feedback from some of the students, it really encouraged me to continue it. And then especially dealing with this injury for the last few months, it's given me that outlet to where I'm still involved and still engaged, even though I can't I wasn't able to fully train like I normally did. So it helps. It really helps. And then like you were mentioning earlier, it makes you really analyze what you're doing, even deeper. And so it helps. It's been helping my game because I need to know, why do you put your hand here? Why do you grip like this instead of like this?
Right.
Why do you do it in this sequence as opposed to doing this other thing first? And because people ask you that, and there have been times when I've been in the middle of a demonstrating something, and they'll say, "Well, why do you do that?" And I'll have to say, "I don't know. Let me not do it and see what happens." And then
okay, there it is.
And so everybody learns from that, So even me, so it's been great.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Back then, and I won't say names, but we used to attend seminars, and they'd be like, somebody have a question. Oh yeah, I can't. We can do private after this. So I'm like, so everybody kind of stay quiet.
Right.
Okay, I don't want to pay for that.
Right.
But it's true, man. I mean, it's never ending.
Yeah.
So what works for somebody might not work for the other person, and vice versa. So it's just, that's the thing about not just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but martial arts in life, man. I mean, you're going to use it for what better fits your lifestyle. You're taller, I'm shorter. It's just like, okay, it's not gonna take some effect, right?
Right. Yeah,
but exactly. Man, as far as when it comes to jiu-jitsu, man, I mean, you said no gi. I mean, gi. Have you ever done wrestling? Like just
no, I did maybe 1 or 2 days of wrestling in high school, and I sucked at it, and I was like, I'm gonna go play football or whatever, Yeah, I never did any wrestling, and I kind of regret that though, because and now that I think about it, it kind of drives how I act now when new people come to jiu-jitsu, because when I did that wrestling in high school and I wasn't good at it, there was nobody there to say, just keep going, you'll get good at it, just keep trying it, It just allowed me to just stop, and so I never did it again. And had I continued, who knows what may have happened, So now when a new person comes and they just get totally demolished or whatever, and I'll just tell them, man, it's part of the process, man. Just hang in there, you'll get it. Or if I roll with them first, I'll just say, okay, well, all we're gonna work on is XYZ.
Right.
Don't worry about all this other stuff that you're seeing.
Too much
just work on this. And then when I see him walk away, I was rolling with this kid earlier this week, first day, and we got ready to roll, and instead of just making him sit on the side, Dalua put him with me, and I said, okay, this is a closed guard. Your job is to get out of this closed guard. And that's all it is. If you get out of this closed guard, then you won. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm just not going to let you out of my guard, And so we did that for the round, and he was able to get out, and I saw the smile on his face when he did it, because he achieved something. And so I try to make it like that, so that then that makes him want to come back the next day.
Okay, so you didn't sweep him right away?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I just let him do his thing, you know, and then if he got close, I'll let him have it, you know, just so he can see what the goal is.
No,
you know?
definitely. And then, that's a good thing, man.
Yeah,
like
so that makes him, you know, see that it's attainable. There's something that I can do, you know, and all of that. You know? So yeah, because if I'd had that in that wrestling class, I might have stuck with it. But.
No, for sure, man. You see, and that's one of the things. I mean, growing up, also, man. I mean, we were a family of 8, you know, 10 with mom and dad. So there was a lot of us. So yeah, we didn't get that one-on-one attention. Right. I was a baby for a few years, and then. But yeah, man, there's a lot of times in life where it's just like, man, if I would have just been told, like, stay with it, then maybe, you know, it's just, who knows. But but now, I mean, as far as I mentioned earlier, like family, you know, nephew, you know, 2 nephews doing the sport. Yeah. Your wife, is she still training?
No, she kind of let it go. She's gone on to other things. When I first started jits, I tried to show her a triangle. And she didn't like being in a triangle, and so that was her only experience with jits. So so now she's into other stuff. So she's not doing it anymore.
But obviously she's okay with you pursuing this.
Yeah, sweet, yeah. So she realized early on that this is something he's into.
I'll keep him busy.
Right. At least I know where he's at. You know, he's either at the gym or he's over in Leroy's garage.
Man, and that's one of the things. I run into customers. I'm a contract delivery driver, so I deliver furniture all over the city. But I had this one lady, and she said, "Oh, let's go into my son's room," and I go in there, and he's got like all these pops, all these collectibles, and I was like, "Man," I said, "It's good." I said, "Collection, huh?" She's like, "Yeah, it's just." Man, I just wish, he wouldn't do so much. And I said, well, at least you know what he's doing. Yeah, right. He's not going to have money to do anything else.
Right,
you're right, but, and that's jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah,
bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, necessarily because, of course you pay for your fees, but there's so much, as far as like Geese, gear, training stuff, man. I mean, but all those are investments, man. That's always tell people.
That's what it is.
Stuff they're going to keep using forever because martial artists, we could it's like I tell people, man, you give a fighter a pair of shorts, man, they're gonna wear them till they freaking disappear.
Right.
They hold on to those suckers, man.
Yeah.
But as far as geese, man, how many geese do you have at home?
I think last count I was at like 23 or something.
Oh man,
like that.
really?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy. I when I first started, I bought 2, and I thought that would be enough. But then, like I said early on, like that, I was so hooked. I was training like 3 or 4 times a day. So I was going through them pretty quick, and so I found this site where I would go. I could get geese, nice looking geese, for pretty cheap, and I just went crazy. And so at one point I was getting probably a gi every couple of weeks. Every time something pop up that I liked, I would get it. And then I found myself with all these gis. I was like, my wife made me take them out of the closet and move them upstairs because it was taking up so much room in the closet and all that. So but I finally kind of got control of that, and now I'm a little more reasonable. But yeah, I got over 20 gis. It's crazy.
Man, I think I had gotten my blue belt, and I got my first Atama. But I got the one with the American and the Brazilian flag pads. And so everybody's like, man, you look like a sponsored fighter.
Yeah, right.
The thing I realized when I started wearing it was that I had to kind of like prove myself a little bit more. I'm like, okay, I'm wearing this.
Spending all this money on that.
So it definitely motivated to keep learning that. I was like, okay, now I gotta see like show people, what I can do and whatnot. But
I got one of my training partners, one of my main training partners. He has a saying. He was like, when you look good, you feel good. So he's always coming in with a new show you roll type gi, and it was like looking all smooth. I was like, man, and or a no gi combination kind of situation. I was like, man, that's kind of smooth. He's like, yeah, man, you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you roll good.
There you go, man.
Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he's paid a pretty good penny.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. But I mean, nonetheless, of course, jiu-jitsu for most it is life because we, it revolves around what we do. Yeah. I mean, necessarily. There's times where when I'm working and I still use hooks. I still use my and I think about it and I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm still using my foot to hook. Just weird things that I use while I'm out there. But it never leaves, man.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's so applicable to so many aspects of your life. I was thinking of this thing I thought I had in my head once where I was saying a good judge of of a jiu-jitsu player is how they deal with pressure.
Yeah.
So you get in a situation where somebody's pressuring down on you, either make a move to relieve the pressure, or you make adjustments to where you could withstand the pressure until you're able to make a move. And that, if you look at that concept, that's a life lesson right there.
Oh yeah.
When life comes at you, you either deal with the pressure, or you get to a position in life where you can deal with the pressure, or you can withstand the pressure until you're able to deal with it. And it's crazy how jits is a reflection of life. I mean, it sounds like cliche, but
no,
it's true.
It is,
it's
because
true.
I mean, just being put in the position, and you're like, okay, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah, how am I going to get out of this? And how can I stay safe until I figure out how to get out of it?
Exactly, man. And that's true, man, in so many ways. I mean, there's a lot of times where, situations in life, I mean, I've been where I had to use restraint, and it's just like, I mean, I'm glad I was able to, because now here I am holding on to this guy, and I got his arm, and I've got my other leg, hooking his leg so he can't move. Because I'm just like, bro, like, you need to chill out, man.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's just, yeah, man. I mean, I was able to save the day.
Yeah.
Because he was a mutual friend, but I was just like, he got a little too tipsy, man. But yeah, man. But I mean, of course, my man. I mean, of course, you make the drive out here. I mean, we are here at the in San Antonio, downtown San Antonio. This is the Fight Card Podcast. Man, I appreciate you for coming out here.
Thanks
man.
for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Dalua, one last question, man. How many times have you tapped out the guy, man? I won't say nothing. I won't say nothing, bro.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna go there. Yeah, Dalua is something else, man, and I'm so grateful to Leroy for introducing me to him and taking me, guiding me to go train with him, and I'm so looking forward to becoming, because I think he mentioned that I might be his first black belt that he trained from white belt to black belt. So I'm looking forward to that happening. Whenever that happens, Dalua's all right.
No, definitely, man. Like I said, I've known the guy for years. I mean, he stepped by here, and he invited you out here, and I appreciate him for doing that. Yeah. And man, I mean, I know he had invited me out there, man, and I'm gonna make it. Especially, you said Fridays is open, man.
Yeah.
And what times do you guys have?
6 o'clock. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna make it a thing to travel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here in San Antonio, but I'm gonna be hitting up a couple local spots. But definitely go to Brownfields, and he keeps talking about that river, man. I think I'm gonna go.
Man. Yeah. So
in there.
Yeah, we love to have you, man. And then if when I do tap him, you'll be the first one to know.
There you go, man. We'll bring you straight to the studio.
Yeah.
But my man, I appreciate you, of course.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, man.
Everybody out there, this is sPidA here, the Fight Card Podcast. Till next time, follow up. And
cool.
Should take a few seconds to pop out, but man, I thank you, bro. I know, like I mentioned, I mean, he did invite you out here, man. And
oh yeah, man.